These will be easy for John.
But no, guess what? I talked to J.R. Hughes this weekend.
Who?
J.R. Hughes,
Oh, how's he?
the Western Wanderer. I saw him. I introduced myself and I told him that I use his website a lot for our podcast. So I also promoted the podcast in the same situation.
Ah, see how he did that, Mason?
Jessup.
Speeding up, no slowing down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast for episode 20 of season 4. We're back after a week off, and a lot of stuff has happened in the last couple of weeks. We're going to recap quite a bit with myself, Mason, Mr. John Breckel, and Mr. Jessup Pelkey. John, how are you doing this week?
I am doing quite well. It has been a busy time at the office, which it usually is right around this time of the year. There has been a lot of racing events happening here as we have been hitting the last, basically week of July into now the first week of August, now into the second week of August, because we skipped a week of podcasting because Mason was too busy storm chasing. And during that period of time, we've had a lot of racing events, and we have a lot more to cover for the upcoming weekend too. So stay tuned.
That indeed we do. Jessup, how are you doing this week?
Oh, it's another week. All good stuff. So they tell me.
I tell you. I mean, you can keep him busy outside of the racing, and so I'm guessing in the next week or two, you're kind of getting back in the swing of things as far as racing goes and other stuff going on.
No, we don't got any
It's
racing next week. And then
it's
my
school,
family thought, no, not at Dakota Speedway.
school, Jessup.
I don't race at school. I got to go down there tomorrow. I don't want to, but when you hear things through the grapevine that you better get your stuff out before one of the new instructors takes all of your stuff. You got to go get it. Even though the powers that be want to keep information from you.
Well, it sounds like you got a race of your own taking place, and so best of luck in that race. Hope you end up in first place.
Oh, I will. I'll get my stuff one way or the other and transfer it to my other school that I'm at.
There you go.
Yep.
I'm doing well myself, coming off a busy couple of weeks and intense 3 weeks, and so it's nice to kind of be back at home and just relaxing for a few days and not chasing weather. Indeed.
Yes.
I'm getting a side eye from Jessup because he's a little bit upset with me.
Yeah, Mason got to do the storm chasing
anywhere.
experience, and Jessup did not.
Yep, Mason got a racecation.
In half a
I had
sense,
mine canceled.
I was late to like 3 consecutive race nights. So that just tells you how kind of like on the plans we're just kind of like we're just throwing this at the wall and hope it sticks. Anyways, I want to thank all of you watchers and listeners that have stuck with us throughout this summer. We appreciate your support, and we've been hearing some great feedback from all you race fans and drivers out there. I want to give a couple of shout outs to some of the followers from our last episode, including Scotty Gartner, always a loyal friend and supporter of ours, Matt Goff, driver of the Soda Street Stock number 17 out of South Dakota, and introduced the podcast to Kyle Dykoff's mother, Jerry. So Welcome to the Track Packer family. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We want to thank our sponsor, Hitch Harness, Tyler Hall out of Fertile, Minnesota, who has been busy racing the last couple weeks. He's been dabbling in a modified and an IMCA stock car. And so Hitch Harness is his business. John, would you like to tell us a little bit about Hitch Harness and what services they provide?
Yeah, you can check them out at hitchharness.com, and they have a bunch of truck accessories as well as a bunch of other items that you can use to protect your hitch. Again, your truck bed is very important, whether you're hauling something, whether you have a hitch back there that you're going to be using in the future. Just remember, you want to protect that hitch. You do not want it to fly out of the truck bed, knock Jessup in the head to even knock him with less sense than he already has, and going through and making sure that you can leave a dent. We don't want that to happen. You might be liable. So protect your hitch and buy some truck accessories because there's a lot of accessories on that website at hitchharness.com.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler, for your support on the podcast. Hope you have some great success and still looking for that first win of 2025. So as you can see, the lineup, John is still on the pole. Jessup is to the outside pole, and I'm Lone Ranger in the back because Becca is not here, and so I'm all by myself. It's a lonely world back here.
And so deserved.
Someone's got to take the rear. Might as well be
Yep.
Mason.
It's kind of been my home for most of this season. Maybe one of these episodes I'll move back up, but we'll officially start episode 20 of season 4 with the waving of the green flag and get right into who or what we are repping. John Breckle starts off.
Oh, I am repping a driver's shirt, one of my stash that I picked up during the World of Outlaw late model event at Nodak at the end of June. I know I can't believe we're already in August, but Ryan Gustin's shirt, because he picked up a big win this weekend over at Cedar Lake. And this is one of his shirts. It actually has the design on the back that is really cool. Let me turn around here as I'm on the floor in the living room. And the design on the back of it is actually the Scott Bloomquist throwback and tribute paint scheme that he kind of used here just a couple years back. So as you guys can see,
Nice.
very nice design on the car and a very nice shirt design as well. Plus, I like the color. It's kind of like a sky blue.
Yeah, you have a few of those sky blue shirts, if I recall, correct?
I do it because it matches my eyes so well.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I do remember
And my
you saying
skin
this.
tone too.
Sure, we'll go with that. Awesome shirt. Jessup, who or what are you repping?
Well, I'm repping the Wissota Street Stock Series t-shirt, as they will be over at the Jamestown Speedway this weekend for a doubleheader, and I believe this is the season finale for the series, is it not, Mason?
Yes, it is.
And that is who and what I am repping, and Mason will give us all the pertinent information and details of who will be there.
Yes, we'll do that later on when we talk about the upcoming events. That is the
I will
OG
not say
shirt.
that now, but we will get there.
That is the OG shirt, too.
It is.
Awesome.
And it was also on top of the pile of shirts that I needed to wear.
There you go. Fitting weekend to wear it.
Yep.
I am actually repping a couple of different street stocks for my gear, so bringing it back out to the 26 Atai Egg and Can Koozie, as he was last year's Street Stock Tour champion. I got to see him a couple times throughout the summer, doing pretty well. Kind of busy with welding and working as a full-time laborer, so don't get to see him at the track too much, but always good to run into him when I get to see him. Street Stock Tour hat, but for the shirt, I'm repping Shelby Williams in the 82 IMCA stock car, which Shelby picked up a pretty big win this past weekend over at the Cole County Classic in Underwood. Won on Saturday night. One of the travelers from out of state, I believe, was he the only traveler basically out of state? Unless you count like Rob Van Mill. But
Or like the Gaudis that came from, the Saskatchewan area as well. So,
right. Yeah. So he came over and spent the 3 days up here with the big stock car races and came away with a big win. So made the trip well worth it for the 82 of Shelby Williams. So that is what we are repping for episode number 20. And so now we will move into the hot sauce hot memory, rewind, and give a shout out to Isaac Sondrol in the 12S IMCA Modified and the 104 IMCA stock car. Been busy kind of dabbling in both this summer and getting some pretty solid runs. Had a pretty good weekend overall in Underwood at the Cole County Classic. And so be sure to stay up to date on all the racing that he does with the multiple cars. 12S Racing on Facebook. And be sure to stop down in the pits if you ever get to see him because he's one of the nicest guys to talk to. So thank you, Isaac, for your support on the podcast as well. This is all you this week. Jessup, what do you got?
Well, we're going to go with the late models this week.
Oh, thank goodness I have a chance.
Well, I can really change it up and just go super mods, or not super mods, but big block mods. You want me to go with big block mods? I can pull those out. Here, give me a couple seconds, John. The IMCA super mods. No, we're going to stick with the late model division, just so Mason can continue on. You know the rules, guys. Driver and year.
Corey Wheeler.
Very good, John. What was the year?
2004.
Interesting choice. Mason?
2002.
Interesting choice. Now, if we're going by Price is Right rules, Mason would be correct because, John, that's too much.
I went over. So Mason, it's 2003.
Moving on to the next one.
Is that Dave Turkowitz?
Nope.
No, it's an O one, not because he was U1, wasn't he?
Oh, he was the U1. He was the U1.
Myron Schockert?
Ooh, Mason. Gets number 2 right.
I'm kind of impressed by that. I didn't expect that to be him.
Mason coming up clutch.
That must have been 2003, too.
Yes. This is a tricky one. I don't think that...
I think it's a Wisconsin driver.
Yeah, that would be... I will... Let me double check their location.
Boy, you could see my reflection perfectly in the rear end of that car when you showed it onto the screen. 02.
My race pass would say you are incorrect.
So does this driver still currently race?
Oh, maybe. You know what? They could be from Wisconsin at the time of this photo. Yes, they still race. Maybe not. Hold on, let me double check. There might be multiple names here.
There's an 02 super stock in Wisconsin. I don't remember what their name is.
This person still races. They are currently in a national series.
Brent Larson?
That would be correct.
Interesting.
According
I
to
would have
that,
never guessed that.
When I saw it, I don't think this one's marked accurately because I've never known Brent to have an 02 car. That could be a mistake on my end, but I've always known him to be the B1 bomber and B1.
Or maybe he was borrowing somebody's car that night.
It could have
car
been.
Problems.
Could have been. Last one.
John, to be honest, I was expecting you to say Jordan Sowers for the 02.
No, I would have not said Jordan Sowers. He probably wasn't even born yet at that time, Mason.
05.
I don't know if I know this one either.
No, Scott Danzielson never raced a late model, did he?
No. This isn't that person. This is Chucky DeSmith.
I've heard the
Never,
name.
never heard of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard the name.
So with that, those are my 4 mystery drivers and photos from this past attempt.
Well, I'm impressed that I got one.
Good
I
job,
was
Mason.
too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was late models. I have more of a chance than super stocks because I don't know a sleeping super stock.
John, do
Oh, see,
better.
Mason, you gotta be better.
Both of you need to be better. I expect 100%.
Yeah, at least with late models, John's got a wide database when it comes to that. So
That's
That is
John
true.
scouring the Western Wanderer.
probably what
Oh
he's doing right
05,
now.
oh 05, 2003, oh 05.
I was not doing that.
The Western Wanderer does a great job of sorting through things. And did you mention it while we were on the air, John, that you got to talk to the Western Wanderer this past week?
I did. I got to see JR over in Jamestown on Saturday. He went to Brown County on Friday. Mason saw him, did not take the time to speak to him, but I did because I'm a nice person. So I went over and talked to JR twice on Saturday over in Jamestown, and introduced myself and thanked him for all of his great photos that he's done for years, as well as the use of his website for using it for the hot sauce, hot memory rewind, but also for research. As you
Yes,
guys know, I'm on there daily.
indeed he is. Thank you, J.R. Hughes, for your excellent work. So now we'll move into the track pack report, which is going to be pretty hefty, but we're going to speed through a lot of this stuff. We'll go back to
Just winners, Mason.
just winners.
I
Regular
got
night of
none
the
of them.
Yeah, regular night at the Sheyenne Speedway on July 24th. There's 6 regular divisions. Dusty Munn, photo finish win, his first at Cheyenne. The Midwest Modifieds, Aaron Michael, his first win at the Cheyenne Speedway. Your Hornets, Chandler Dick, with another feature win. Street Stocks went to KCU Saddest. Hobby Stocks, Billy Carroll with another win this season out there. And Trevor Walsh got his first Gen X late model win. That was your action from July 24th. Very quick, good night of racing. They've been doing a really good job on the track over there. So very impressed with their work that they're doing. Friday, we were at 2 different venues. I will go to John first, since he was the only one out of the group in attendance at Governor's Cup over in Mandan. Talk to us about Gov Cup.
We had 164 cars, a complete show for all classes. So, slingshots.
John, can I
Yes.
take a moment and just do this?
Yes.
That is not true, Mason. I was there both Friday and Saturday. Just not during the races.
I was just going to say, but how much racing action did you actually see?
Yeah.
In person.
Oh, well, then I did not see any in person, but I was there on race night.
That's another phrase that just, anytime I hear it, it's just.
Or race day.
Anyways, Mason, you got a caution. Go ahead, John. Thank you.
Okay, slingshots. In the slingshot division, it was Caden Davenport who picked up a win over the 15 slingshots that were in attendance. In the hobby stock division, we had 19 cars. It was Brody Michelson picking up the win in the hobby stocks on Friday night. In your legends had 36 entries for night 1 of Governor's Cup, and it was the Madler brothers, Noah Madler, picking up the win with Gage in second. In your stock car division, they had 23 entries on night 1 of the Governor's Cup, and it was Jeff Hellman who picked up the win over Johnny Carter. And your modifieds had 34 entries. Very nice car count for Governor's Cup. It was Jeremy Keller who won over Sean Strand. And in your late models, the highest car count there during the Governor's Cup. Thank you, Becca, for reaching out for a lot of the drivers and having them come over for the Governor's Cup. It was Ryan Michelson who spanked the field. He won his heat, and he had a clean sweep on Friday night. But that was Governor's Cup, night 1, and we got it in with no weather issues.
Good deal. Good start to the Gov Cup weekend. I was also at the first night of a doubleheader down in Aberdeen, South Dakota, at the Brown County Speedway for their Dakota Rumble. So Friday night they had Midwest Mods Street Stocks with the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour, and the Tri-State Late Model Series was also in attendance. So Midwest Mods kicked off the program. We had Dawson Zabel in the 1Z picking up the win in the Midwest Modifieds. Street Stocks went to the 20 Junior at Jaden Bogue, holding off a hard-charging Trey Hess for his first Street Stock Tour win. And in the late models, it was the hot shoe Chad Becker holding off a hungry pack of drivers behind him. Good car count in the late models, 36 there and 33 Street Stocks. So very nice car count over at Brown County Speedway on Friday night as well. On to Saturday, back to the Governor's Cup, John.
Yeah, so it was night 2 of Governor's Cup on Saturday night, and really nice car counts once again on Saturday. We had a total car count of 161 drivers that checked in on Saturday night. In your slingshot division, it was Caden Davenport who went back-to-back and became Governor's Cup champion. In your hobby stock division, it was Derek Appert who picked up the win and also the Governor's Cup championship. In your legend division, it was Noah Madler who was gone. He won by a lot in that legend event that went green flag racing all the way to the end in the 800 to also become Governor's Cup champion. In your stock car division, we had 25 stock cars on night 2. It was Jeff Hellman who went back-to-back with wins in your stock cars and was your Governor's Cup champion. In your modified division, we had 35 entries on night 2. Jeremy Keller led a majority of that race. John Carell got around him with only a few laps remaining on a restart to pick up the win, and Jeremy Keller was your Governor's Cup champion with Johnny C in second as your runner-up. In your late models, it was once again Ryan Michelson who spanked the field and was a clean sweep again on Saturday to pick up the Governor's Cup championship as well as the win over Cole Schill and Dave Moss. We had 161 cars, and we got done right before the weather was there. We could see lightning right to the south of us, and the eye strike system spotted it right when the checkered flag flew at the end of the night.
Oh, good. Glad you guys got the full night in. Those are some pretty good names to get over to the Dakota Speedway for the late models. So great job again.
37 on night 1, 35 on night 2.
I just want to point out that's the most late models out of any Wissota show that weekend.
Good point. Very
Becca
good.
Did a very nice job.
Yes. Very good job once again, Becca. Back down to the Brown County Speedway for Saturday night. Just 2 classes on the card, the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour and the Tri-State Late Model Series once again. This time in the Street Stocks, it was the Wolverine Justin Vogel getting his first win of 2025. Hard to believe, but that was his first win of the season. So congratulations to Lieutenant Justin Vogel. And in your late models, it was Superman Mike Stearns picking up the 5,000 to win show in front of Kent Arment and Cole Steering. So that was another fun night of racing. Overall, the racing at Aberdeen was pretty good. Very, very tacky track both days. So definitely no shortage of action on the bull ring down in Aberdeen, South Dakota. So that kind of concluded racing action for that weekend because I decided on Sunday to complete the circle of everyone getting to see some weather phenomena because the Bismarck clan got to be graced by seeing a tornado. Was it in late June? Was that happen?
Yes, it was, I believe, the 27th of June, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Friday night.
Yep.
And Mason got graced to be able to see it this time over at a racetrack in Watertown at Casino Speedway. And Mason, this was your first one that you've ever seen in person.
This was my first tornado that I've ever seen in my life. And it was cool for about 20 seconds. And then it's like, I'm getting out of here. Come on.
So here's my question. Where are you going to go?
Well, my plan was to just try to get over to the interstate and then go south towards Brookings. That was my initial plan. And then hopefully I was just going to take the long way around. The problem was the storm was backbuilding so much that it never really it kept moving east, but the back part of the system kept building further west. So it just got bigger. So I actually ended up going through the back part of the storm when it was starting to rotate again, and I think eventually ended up in another tornado warning. So it was a little sketchy for a little bit.
John, I don't think this is what they tell you in a case of emergency, such as a tornado.
You're supposed to take shelter.
Mm-hmm. John, did you take shelter?
I took shelter. I did. I was in the house at least.
Yes. So you were in a shelter. I was in a
I was in
shelter.
the structure.
I was in a moving structure.
He was smoking death up. He was doing what we would, dream to do.
I will
Selfish.
say,
He just wanted to go chasing.
shout out to Casey Ustas, because I think Ashley Wamper had a live video and Casey tuned in, and the first word he said was jealous.
Yep.
It's like, Casey, we were trying to convince you to come down to Watertown. You would have been able to be at the racetrack and see a tornado. You would have gotten the full experience.
He would have had fun.
Yes, you would have. Shout out to the Casino Speedway for being on top of it and getting everyone out of there before things got very, very western. I don't think, like, the tornado lifted before it crossed the lake, because we could see it across the lake. We had a clear shot of it. But it torrentially downpoured, I think, about 15 minutes after all of us got out of there. But so that was the first weekend of racing recap. The next week of racing started on that Tuesday. Oh, shoot. No, it's not.
Jessup, get it out.
That's
He does
caution.
deserve it for this one.
That's definitely caution.
Actually, John, at this point, this is caution number 2 on Mason.
I would say he definitely deserves a caution on that one.
That's
Just
number 2.
Right for me, when I was over at the McLean County Speedway on that Sunday for their season championship night.
Sorry.
I know. I just, we just cannot have nice things because of this.
We're not big enough.
No. Okay, so let's go through championship night at McLean, because McLean had a very nice show on championship night on that Sunday. We'll start with your legends. In your legends, it was a driver that just picked up a huge win the night before in Wisconsin for $10,000 to win. That was Preston Martin that picked up the win over the Madler brothers. So congratulations to Preston in the legends. They had 16 legends in attendance. In your wingless sprints, the Western Renegades, it was Mike Tomlinson who beat his son Miles Tomlinson to pick up the win, a very emotional win in Victory Lane. In your Northern Sport Mods, it was Stan Tomlinson who picked up a very popular win from the grandstands over there in the Sport Mods, and Gabe Deshaw was tracking him down, but had problems with that 21 machine. He was still your track champion. In the Hobby Stock division, it was Jason Ruby, who has been running quite well as of late in that 23 Hobby Stock. He picked up the win over there at McLean on championship night. Aiden Paul was your champion.
Oh, thanks.
In your stock car division, it was Christopher Zen who started in 11th. Christopher went through the field in that brand new stock car to him. He's new in the stock car division this year. And Christopher Zen's picked up a huge win in that 69Z over Will Sheretsky. And your champion was Marcus Tomlinson. 17 stock cars were there on championship night. And in your Sport Compacts, it was Zach Eubanks who picked up the win in the 27 machine in your Sport Compact division. So very nice night for championship night over there at McLean for the season points championships on that Sunday.
So thank you for the recap on championship night over in Underwood. Now the second week of recap kicked off with the street stock Little Dream over at Rice Lake, Wisconsin. I was in attendance for that. Did either of you watch the race live at all?
I did not. I think I forgot to do picks.
Shame. Jess,
I
did you
know.
watch it all?
Nope, I did not have the opportunity to watch any, knowing that I had Mason there to give me play-by-play of how the field would play out.
To be honest, it was a very quiet night until probably about 1:32 in the morning. Yeah, the racing itself was solid. A lot of side-by-side action. It was basically the Keith Tourville show all night. Very much dominant in his heat race and dominant in the feature. The battle for second through sixth was pretty crazy. You had Levi Rand battling with Justin Vogel, Hunter Van Gilder, Kyle Dykhoff, and actually Hunter Van Gilder got charged with a caution on lap 10. Went all the way back and was battling for top 3 position at the end. So Keith Tourville came across the line in first. Record payout, $30,100 going to the winner. Kyle Dykhoff came across in second and Hunter Van Gilder in third. Now, post-race tech, which has been very extensive the last few seasons over at the Little Dream Race, DQ'd Keith Tourville at about like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So that handed the win to Kyle Dykhoff. Now, I believe it is under appeal as we speak. So I don't know if the official results have come out just yet.
Didn't this happen like in one of the previous years as well, where they had someone win and then they got DQ'd and then they tried to appeal?
I don't know if they tried to appeal necessarily, because like Nick Traynor won last year, got disqualified, but I don't know if he appealed it or not. Because they came out with a win, like a post saying, Cody Coomer was the official winner of the race the next day or 2 days afterwards. It's about a week now and haven't quite heard anything official yet. So still in limbo as we speak.
I'll just send a random check for $31,000 in the mail. But there will be no formal announcement.
Yeah. So we'll see how everything plays out. But as it stands right now, Kyle Dykhoff is your unofficial winner with Hunter Van Gilder in second, Levi Rand, solid run in third, Jim Gulks in fourth, and Colton Brower in fifth. So that was your result from a Little Dream Race. So moving on with the week, I was working in Rice Lake for most of the week anyways, and so I was near the Gondik Law Speedway up in Superior, Wisconsin. Decided to head up for their fair race on their Wednesday night. Now, Jessup, this is your neck of the woods. I assume you've been to the racetrack in Superior?
Many times, yes.
That is a very, very cool racetrack.
Yes, it is.
And
what
much
do you
bigger
like about it?
I actually like the long straightaways. The track itself had a lot of moisture in it, so like didn't really dry or slick off too much. Of course, they didn't have like some of the like heavier mortared cars like the late models or modifieds there that night, but it was still pretty racy track.
Yep, I believe that with red clay, it holds the moisture quite well.
Yep, and well, it almost looked like fog in a sense, but it was so smoky that it almost looked like fog. I'm like, I can picture what fog outs kind of look like now.
Oh yeah, that is a common occurrence down by Lake Superior, where if you go maybe 15, 20 minutes away from the track, sometimes not even that, it can be 30, 40 degrees warmer.
Yeah, I was wearing long pants and a sweatshirt Wednesday night because it was a little chilly for my liking.
Yep, I could see that happening as well. Life down by the lake.
Yes, I would definitely go to that racetrack again. That is definitely a very cool facility. I would want to go back.
Yeah, they hold a lot of good races. I think one of my favorite races was the year they held the USAC wingless sprints there.
Ooh.
And I think the previous 2 years they tried to get them, and there was a rain out, a fog out, and then it rained super hard the year that they got him. I can't remember how it happened. It was either the night before or the morning of it rained super hard, and it was like pretty cool weather all day, and they had like 30 some wingless sprints there, and it was a wild show. They were sending cars all. I think they had a 360 sprint there running wingless. They got stuck up in the catch bench and two,
Oh gosh.
And like it was literally being held off the ground, about like 15 feet off the ground.
Say those are pretty high fences there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then they flipped one down in 3 and 4, all before qualifying. And the common response that we heard in the pits from the USAC drivers were they also had a really bad wreck out of 2. But the common response was, never again. This track is too fast for us. And they haven't been back since. And it was probably my favorite wingless sprint car show I've ever seen.
With how long those straightaways are, I could see them carrying some massive speed into the corners.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
It was real cool.
I was sitting in the pit stands off a turn 2 in the backstretch, so that was my vantage point for the night.
That would be, yeah, turn 2. I've sat there quite a few times too. We sat there that night. No, we were right along the fence, right in that general area. And I was standing there watching them fly by coming out of 2. I'm like, this is one of the few times I truly feel like I'm in danger. And then we had the massive wreck right in front of us, and that was wild.
I actually think I got pretty close to I think it was a pier stock that went almost head first into the wall there off of turn 2 in the heat race. I'm like, oh, this is a fun spot to stand right next to the fence.
Yep, you're right there with the action.
Sure am. So their classes that night were Wissota Super Stocks, Wissota Midwest Mods, Wissota Pure Stocks, and Wissota Hornets. It was Joey Jensen who was your winner in the Super Stocks. Midwest Mods went to James Vandella. Pure Stocks went to Tom Trevoranis. And your Hornets, which was the race of the night, went to Randy Tchaikovsky after he and Carson, I think it's Gotlar? That was like one of the first times I've seen a slide job and a crossover with a Hornet.
Nice.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, going into 3 and 4, they were doing a slide job and a crossover. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So they had a great race to finish out the fair night over in Gondik Law. So fun first experience at that track. Now, Thursday, did you go to any racing on Thursday, John? I don't believe so.
Nope, I was nowhere at a racetrack on Thursday, so I was home Thursday.
All righty, so I was starting to make my way towards home, and I arrived super late to Wilmer for their Meet the Drivers night. Always a fun time to go to those nights for the kids and collect hero cards and candy and get all sugared up for on the way home. In your pure stocks, it was Colson Schultz picking up the win from the pole position. Your street stocks went to the 34J of Colton Brower. That's win number 28 on the season for Colton Brower. Midwest Modifieds went to the 5C of Justin Bjorklund. Your Mod 4s went to Dean Larson in 37. Probably has the best celebration out of anyone as he climbs the fence every time he wins there. It's quite the show. So, young 70-some-year-old guy climbing fences. Always fun to watch. Super Stocks, Zach Schultz in the 511 took the feature win. Modifieds went to Don Eichens, putting the butt whooping of the week on as he won by 10 seconds. Oh, he was unstoppable that night. And your Hornets went to the 21 of Colton Lodermeyer, and that finished off your night at the KRA Speedway. On to Friday. John, where'd you go on Friday?
So on Friday night, I was at night 1 of the Cole County Classic over at the McLean County Speedway in Underwood, and they had a lot of cars. 134 cars over at McLean in Underwood, and just a great car count overall. Racing action was very good throughout the entire night as well over there in McLean. Let's start it off by going through your legends first. They had 31 legends that showed up on night 1 of the Cole County Classic, and it was Noah Madler who picked up the win over Preston Martin and Donovan Weist on night 1 over there in your legends. In your wingless sprints, they had 16 wingless sprints that showed up. It was Miles Tomlinson who picked up the win over Eric Guyot in the 25 machine. So congratulations to Miles for picking up the win on night 1 of the CCC. I know that didn't come out right, didn't it?
Nope.
In the Northern Sport Mods, I know, Jessup, you didn't even have the flag even ready on me. That would have been perfect time for it. In the Sport Mods, it was Chad Strachan, who picked up the win with a late pass on Gabe Deshaw in your sport mods. They had 16 sport mods on night one. In your IMC hobby stocks, they had 13 hobby stocks on night one. It was Caden Appelt who beat Taylor Heaton in the 11H machine. So congratulations to Caden on a big win on night one of the Cole County Classic. In your modifieds, they ended the night. They had 14 modifieds there on night one. And it was the dark horse, Travis Hagen, by picking up the win over Steven Pfeiffer by about 3.5 seconds. So Hagen had the track figured out on night one. In your slingshot division, they had 10 entries in your slingshots. It was Spider-Man Landon Hallgren who picked up the win in your slingshots. And your stock cars, we had a very nice car count of 34 entries. Pretty cool to see with the stock car division. Some travelers, like Mason had mentioned, Shelby Williams, who he's repping here on the podcast, he was in attendance in that great looking Salute for Veterans scheme in that 82 machine. Very nice paint scheme on that car. But it was Jake Nelson who picked up the win over Dalton Flory. And there was some moving and shaking in that feature event because Jake started 7th to pick up the feature win, and Dalton started 14th to finish in 2nd. So
Excellent.
very nice night. Johnny Carter was 4th. He started in the back in 18th after coming through a consi to finish in 4th, with Marcus Tomlinson in 3rd. So pretty nice night. The first night at the McLean County Speedway for the Cole County Classic.
Excellent. I went down to the Brown County Speedway for another Meet the Drivers night. They do a really great job with their kids' night. They have a lot of goodies to hand out to the kids, and all the drivers stop on the front straightaway before the races start and have at it with candy and hero cards. And so good time there. Thankfully, it wasn't like 90 degrees like it was last year for this night. And they had a good solid field of cars. They had 92 total cars in attendance. Street Stocks kicked off the feature night action with Billy Chris in the 79 machine picking up the win in front of Maria Brooksick. Billy was pretty much unstoppable in that race. In the Midwest Modifieds, it was the 1C Dawson Zabel picking up another win at the Brown County Speedway. He had one of my GoPros on, so for all of you people who think my GoPros are cursed, they've got multiple wins this season. So congratulations to Zabel on getting the feature win there. In your Wissota Modifieds, it was Superman Mike Stearns picking up another feature win in front of Blake Adams, who was traveling over all the way from Wisconsin. Very fun battle to watch in the last couple laps. Super Stocks, they had a makeup Super Stock race from about a month ago where Trevor Nelson picked up that win, and he would go 2 for 2 on that night by claiming the feature on Kids Night. So 2 wins for the 71 of Trevor Nelson, who started 9th in that race. And in your late models, which I think right now as it stands is the race of the year, several different drivers battling for the win. You had Thomas Wisegram, the 16, up in front, along with Josh Skorcheski, Trevor Anderson. Mike Stearns was your early leader. He had mechanical trouble, so he kind of fell out. But several times the lead swapped hands. And this was a caution-free race. Like, this was all, like, under 25 laps of straight green flag racing and thick. Now, I mean thick, 3 wide lap traffic to deal with. It came down to the last couple laps. Trevor Anderson and Thomas Wisegram were kind of swapping the lead. And slowly but surely, the hot shoe Chad Becker, who started 7th, was slowly kind of gaining, and he would make the winning move through 3 and 4 to take the lead for just about a half a straightaway to get the feature win. Incredible race. I cannot wait to post that race because it was very, very awesome to watch. So Chad Becker got the win, Trevor Anderson in 2nd, and Josh Skorcheski in 3rd. And that was your night for Kids Night down at the Brown County Speedway in Aberdeen. John, let's head up to the Jamestown Speedways. They were back after a week off, I believe.
That is correct. So they were back with Fan Appreciation Night with Cougans. So Cougans usually are a championship night. Schedule conflict there, so they were on Saturday night. So they sold out of the Cougans as well. Now, during the night, we had 99 total entries. Let's start with your slingshots. We had 9 slingshots in attendance. And it was a battle between Caden Davenport as well as Libby Martin, who actually spun out when she was running in 2nd, as well as Easton Olson. Caden picked up the feature win there in your slingshots. We had 9 slingshots on Saturday. 21 hobby stocks. And it was the battle up front between Joe and Tanner Jacobson. So father and son duo were up there along with Riker Vetter, led many laps in that race. Kelly Horner was up front in that race as well. It was Joe Jacobson who went back-to-back. He won before the off week as well. So he won to the feature event with Tanner in 2nd. In your legends, they had 14 legend entries on Saturday night, and it was the Joker, Cody Macart, who picked up his first Jamestown win of the year in the 7 machine. In your WISSOTA Midwest Modifieds, that was a great race between the drivers of Jason Grimes, Jaron Wimstead, Brennan Waite, and Kyle Anderson. We had those guys battling really hard up front, and behind them we had a great battle between Aaron Michael in the 62 machine, Memphis Clausen in the 47 machine was right over there battling for the top 5. So really good battles in that feature event. But it was Brennan Waite who edged Jaron Wimstead at the line for the feature win. Jaron actually got ahead of him coming out of turn 2 on the last lap. Brennan got ahead of him going into 3 and 4 and was able to beat him back to the line for that feature win, with Kyle right next to the wall on the bottom and Jason Grimes on the high side battling back there for 3rd and 4th. So really good race in your WISSOTA Midwest Modifieds. In your WISSOTA Street Stocks, they went clean and green. We had 18 WISSOTA Street Stocks, 19 WISSOTA Midwest Modifieds, and it was Cole Gresseth who has had an outstanding season and picked up his 18th win of the year on Saturday night over in Jamestown. He held off Jody Michelson and Casey Eustatis, who were putting on a show for second. They were battling pretty hard for that second place spot at the finish line, with Billy Chris right over there in 4th place, trying to track down your top 3 drivers. Then in your IMC Modifieds, last race of the night, as they were pushing the show along because we had the threat of weather all night over there in Jamestown. And it was a battle up front between John Nord, who got the lead early in that race. John Nord was leading. They had a caution that came out with 10 to go. And unknown to John, you had Johnny C., who has looked like a rocket ship right now in that Rage chassis, working the bottom next to the wall to perfection. He was closing in really fast on John Nord, as Nord was using the middle to high line. And also you had Scotty Gardner, who won before the off week on the high side, that was also railing the high side in the 0 machine, trying to track John Nord down. On a restart with 10 to go, Nord went in the middle, Scott went to the high side, Johnny C went to the bottom, and they went 3 wide coming out of turn 2 for the lead, as both Nord, Scott Gardner, and Johnny C never touched, but Johnny C and Scott Gardner went right by him on the back straightaway, like Nord was standing still. So really good battle up front. Lindsey Hansen was right up in there, and then Johnny C worked the bottom, Scott Gardner on the high side, and Johnny C picked up the win. He's had quite a season in that brand new car. He looks kind of like the Johnny C of old, as I believe, and people can correct me if I'm wrong on this one too, but I believe Johnny C is either 71 or 72 years old. I think he's 71 currently. So, but great win by Johnny C in the 5 machine over there in Jamestown. They had 18 IMC Modifieds on Saturday night for 99 cars 20.
Good work. Excellent recap. Glad you got the entire race night in. No weather shenanigans. That's always good as well. Oh, you look like do you have a flag you want to throw, Jessup?
No, I'm just organizing my flags to make sure
Okay.
I'm a
He's getting prepared.
Gotcha.
Flensily flag man.
Well, I did actually 2 races on Saturday. I won't recap all the go-kart racing that I watched at Atwater because they had a lot of cars there and a lot of classes time. So I want to give a little shout out to the Atwater Kart Speedway for the invite to come down there and shoot some video. It was their Tasha Fester Memorial Series, and they do that at a couple different tracks, I believe in Westport as well, and the go-kart track in Alexandria. So thank you for the invite down to Atwater. Got to go down there both Saturday and Sunday. But in between that, I finished out my weekend at the Madison Speedway for Kids Night and Meet the Drivers Night there as well. Pretty good racing all night. Started off in their pure stocks where the 47 at Jason bested the field to get the feature win there. What?
Good job, Mason. We're proud of you for using that, that metaphor.
I thought long and hard about that one.
I'm sure you did.
Yes. Well, in your WISSOTA Street Stocks, it was Zachary Flickinger who flicked the rest of the field to the side, and he got the feature win there as well.
I agree with Jessup on this one. Stay in your lane.
Fine. Midwest Modifieds, Justin Bjorklund, the 5C, gets another win on the weekend. In the Super Stocks, It was Justin Tam in the 71T picking up the feature win. Wasota Modifieds, a little bit of a surprise visit, but the 26 Ryan Gerke came over. Took a little bit for him to get to the lead, but once he got the lead, he was flat out gone by about a straightaway. So congratulations to Ryan Gerke on the win there. In your Wasota Hornets, really good field of Hornets. They had 18 Hornets there. So very, very good field of cars there. And it was Jeff Roner holding out Adam Vanderstein for the win there. And they also had vintage cars there as well, which they don't have the results there. So I'm not as familiar with that series, but they did have those guys there as well. And they put on a great show. So that was your night at Madison Speedway. Didn't do any racing other than the karting for myself on Sunday because a couple of the tracks rained out and it was probably a blessing in disguise for me. And so that is your track pack report from the last couple weeks. All caught up now. No! Yes. You didn't go to Mina, did you, John?
I did not go to Minot. No, I stayed home. I got caught up on some work since it's going to be a busy week this week.
Gotcha. Yes, this is going to be a busy week coming up, and let's kind of talk about the racing coming up, starting in the state of North Dakota with Mr. Dakota Dirt.
Did you know, race fans, you can check out schedules as well as results, weather forecasts, which is very important for Mason these days, considering he goes storm chasing now, and much more on Dakota Dirt. It is your one-stop shop for everything that you need to know from a North Dakota and surrounding areas perspective. So check them out, dakotadirt.org. They are also social.
We try to be social. We won't bite too hard. Anyways, this week's going to be a pretty busy week. It kicks off Thursday. Sheyenne Speedway's got what looks to be a pretty nice night of racing. All their regular classes will be in attendance. Let's see. Nope, that race isn't happening. That says Tri-County. That's not happening. That got moved to the 3rd, but that's been postponed to the 10th.
Jessup, you're missing an important detail on the Thursday night race.
What am I missing?
It is the Street Stock Tour in Cheyenne as well.
Is it?
It is.
That is an important detail. It is the Street Stock Tour. Gotta make sure you don't say series, or else Mason gets upset. It should be this. Yeah. Never mind. Well, moving
Just
forward.
read your shirt, Jessup. Just read what it says on your shirt.
Reading is tough at this point of the day.
Yeah, yes, they teach you to lead, not to read. I forget.
I am a leader from the University of Mary. Anyways, that's a Bismarck joke.
Well, we make fun of Napoleon. I guess the University of Mary is getting the brunt of it today.
Yep. On Friday, we got 4 tracks racing. Let's start up in the western part. It'll be the Williston Basin Speedway with the wingless sprints, along with IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Stock Cars, IMCA Sport Mods, the Hobby Stock Slingshots, and like I said, the wingless sprints. Jamestown will be night 1 of the Wasota Street Stock Tour doubleheader with IMCA Mods, Wasota Street Stocks, Wasota Mid Mods, NX Legends, Hobby Stocks, and Slingshots. On the east side of the state at the Red River Valley Speedway, it is the IMCA Modified Meet and Greet, along with IMCA Mods, IMCA Stock Cars, IMCA 305 Sprints, IMCA Sport Mods, IMCA Hobbies, and the NX Legends. And over at the River City Speedway, it's not going to say that, but it's the NOSA Sprints, Wasota Streets, Wasota Mid Mods, Wasota Lates, and the Lightning Sprints. Weird. On the 9th, it is Devil's Lake Speedway with a nice showing of classes with the Lightning Sprints, Wasota Mid Mods, Wasota Streets, and their Pure Stock division. The Estevan Motor Speedway will be hosting their championship night along with all their classes, all their IMCA classes, which are the Modifieds, the Stock Cars, Sport Mods, Hobby Stocks, and the Slingshots. Southwest Speedway is hosting the Richard Jordan Memorial. with IMCA Modifieds, IMCA Stock Cars, IMCA Sport Mods, IMCA Hobby Stocks, the Slingshots, and the NX Legends. And I just looked at what they were racing for. I think it's just over $1,000 to win for the Richard Jordan. So nice. It actually is a really nice grading back pay from first place back to about ninth. Drops off by about 100 each position. So a pretty nice payout there. Then it's night 2 over at the Jamestown Speedway for the Wissota Street Stock Tour doubleheader, along with the Wissota late models. And John, what other classes do they have? I know when I put the schedule together, they only had late models and street stocks.
Yeah, it's the same as last year. It would be the regular divisions that they run normally with late models.
Okay. So a full night plus late models and the championship night of the Wissota Street Stock Tour. So that's a big night for Mason and everyone who follows along with that tour. And then on Sunday, it is the John Gall Memorial. It's a 4,000 to win IMCA Sport Mod race up at the Nodak Speedway. They have IMCA Sport Mods, IMCA Sport Compact, Slingshots, and the NX Legends. And then on Sunday, it will also be the postponed championship night for the Tri-County Speedway, which was supposed to take place on August 3rd, but it was postponed and rescheduled to August 10th. And they have some Midwest Mods, Street Stocks, NX Legends, and Hobby Stocks as well. And that covers what's happening in the North Dakota and just north of the border racing scene for us.
Excellent. And outside the state of North Dakota, we got a lot of action taking place. Grand Rapids Speedway kicks off the first of, I believe it's their championship weekend of the Fastlane Motorsports Northland Superstock Series. They have a 4-night swing, which starts at Grand Rapids on Thursday. The Lightning Sprint Nationals is also kicking off in Norman County Raceway on Thursday as well. And Victory Lane Speedway up in Winnipeg is also running on the 7th. Friday the 8th, we have Fiesta City Speedway's Meet the Drivers Night. The Fastlane Superstock Series heads to the Gondik Law Speedway, and Miller Central Speedway is racing, as well as Princeton Speedway, and the Red Cedar Speedway is hosting the Late Model Challenge Series. Saturday the 9th, we have Greenbush Race Park in action, North Central Speedway as well. Kids Night Bike Giveaway at Ogilvie Raceway. The Fastlane Superstock Series heads to Ashland and the ABC Raceway. Let's see. Rice Lake hosts the Late Model Challenge Series race, and the Fallen Lyman Modified Special is taking place at Viking Speedway. On Sunday the 10th, the Lightning Sprint Nationals conclude their 4-day swing up at the Buffalo River Speedway. Grand City Motor Park has Meet the Drivers. Also racing is Bemidji Speedway, and Casino Speedway is hosting their rescheduled Kids Night after their last Sunday got rained out. So another full slate of races on tap as we start to wind down the regular part of the season. Only a few weeks until we get to invitational season, so things are winding down pretty darn quick up here in the upper Midwest. We will now display the white flag and give a shout out to our good friend Brody Carlsrud, the B1 IMCA stock car, who is heating up at just the right time. Got a couple of big wins over the last couple of weeks. We might talk a little bit about in just a minute or two. Be sure to stay up to date on his Facebook page because he's got a lot of fun updates with some of the races he's won. Brody Carlsrud B1 Racing, and check out his podcast, The Real Deal with B1. Thank you so much, Brody, for the support on the podcast, and hope you continue to have some more success towards the end of the year. We'll move to wins of the week, and John Breckle, you get to go first.
Okay, so I have 3 wins of the week. So my first win of the week is going to go to Ryan Gustin for picking up the USA Nationals win this past weekend over at the Cedar Lake Speedway. What a great car count for late models for the super late model division, they had over 50 entries. And for your local, more of the kind of the Wasota late model division was almost 50 entries. They had 48, 49, and I believe 49 for those 3 nights, which what a great car count overall for all of those late model shows over there. Great job to the Cedar Lake Speedway for the great USA Nationals this year over there. In the Legends, I have to give a big shout out to Preston Martin. Preston has been on a hot streak. He went through and picked up the huge $10,000 to win show over at Beaver Dam over there in Wisconsin. So congratulations to Preston representing the North Dakota guys and getting a complete teardown after that race like they do for the Little Dream. And it was deemed to be completely legal. So congratulations to Preston. Came back the next night, won at McLean, and then won over on Saturday night at McLean on night 2 of the Cole County Classic. So congratulations to Preston Martin. My other win of the week, I have to kind of give it to, I'm going to give it to Dustin Strand. Dustin has been super hot in his late model, and I don't think he's going to slow down anytime soon. He picked up the win again over at the River City Speedway in Grand Forks on Friday night, this past Friday, and then picked up the win over at the Devil's Lake Speedway on Saturday. So he won both races again over there this past weekend. The week before, he was second over at River Cities. Right now, in Wasota late model racing shows at River Cities, his worst finish is second.
Hmm.
And the Wasota late model. And they have been averaging over 20 late models in a given night. So that
Yeah.
just shows you how tough and how dominant he has been, which, Mason, which we know in about a month here is the Sites Memorial. One race that he has not won that he truly wants to win. I think he's going to be a front runner and a tough competitor again this year for the Sites.
Mhm.
Always seems like he has some type of problem happen. And last year he had a strong run. And I think this year he's going to be really strong over their Sites if the cards fall right for him at the Sites Memorial this year.
Excellent set of wins to kick off wins of the week. Go ahead, Jessup. I saw you writing a bunch down, so I'm sure you got a pretty good list underneath you.
Yeah, I got a pretty hefty group of names here for the last 2 weeks. So I will go 1 week prior for a World of Outlaw winner, and I'll say Brian Shirley for picking up a pair of wins down at the Prairie Dirt Classic down in Fairbury. And then he got to drive his late model all the way to the bank and make a deposit, which is pretty cool. Cash his check, deposit. He might have opened an account. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the thing. But it's still a pretty cool tradition that they got down there and a really big win. And I was just trying to see what he ended up winning there. And
It's $10,000. It's $100,000 is what
yep,
the win is for the fair is for the Prairie Dirt Classic over there at Fairbury. I believe it actually might be 50. Just look that up to be sure.
I'm
For some
trying
reason
to
this year I
find
think
it
it was
here, John.
100.
Prairie
This year for
Dirt.
some reason I think it was $100,000. But long story short is guys they had the UMP modifieds as well as the late models over there at the Fairbury Speedway, and they had 78 late models.
That's a lot of late models.
78 late models. And how they do that format is it's very interesting. That format is you do qualifying and then you do 4 heat races.
It was 50,000.
Okay, $50,000 in. You do 4 heat races. And they take basically, I think it's the top 5 or the top 4 from the heats. I think it was top 5 this year from the heats, is what they take out of those heat races. And if you think about that, right? Each heat race, I mean, you got almost 80 cars. So each heat race is basically like a feature event at most tracks. Then you go into your consies. They only run 3 consies for the late models, and that's on Saturday night with top 2 coming out of those consies. Your consies were like features.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially with the caliber of drivers in there. So yeah, so that personally, that track is small. It's got a lot of support from the community. That's one event that's kind of on my bucket list that I want to get to one of these days.
Well, I agree. That would be a fun one to get to. Just got to find time for us to get there. my next winner, there's a lot of good people left here on this list I have. I'm going to say Western North Dakota IMCA stock car racing as a whole gets my second win. And the big thing about it is this past weekend, there's just a lot of IMCA stock cars racing in the western part of North Dakota. Friday night had 34 at the Cole County Classic in McLean County Speedway. And then Saturday night, they had 38 at the Cole County Classic. And then Sunday night, for the Ole Olson Memorial in Nodak, they had 47. So that's really, really good car counts for stock car racing. So that's pretty cool. In my final one, there's a lot to choose from here.
Well, and just one more note on the whole stock car count. I think, like we mentioned, Shelby Williams was the lone, way out of state traveler that came for that. So, really good representation from Western North Dakota and some drivers that came over from the East State as well.
Yep. I definitely agree with that. My last one, I could go with Gov Cup champions and everything like that, but I'll leave the street stock guys for Mason. I'm going to probably say Johnny Corral. He's been bad fast. He's looking really good, heating up at the right time of the season. And we're getting to invitational season and the month of money. And I think he's got a Dakota Speedway win. And he was right there with Jeremy Keller for Gov Cup champion. And had he finished second the first night, he would have won a Gov Cup champion. So he missed it by literally one position. And then he picked up a nice win at Jamestown. And if you're asking what happened to Gov Cup Mark Dahl, from what I've seen from the video, he looked fast.
He was third and third.
Okay.
Yeah, third and third. So he couldn't have been third and third. Second and third.
Third and third. He had 6 points.
Oh, I thought. Yeah, never mind.
Johnny C also had 6 points.
Hmm.
John Strand also had 6 points.
I
There
don't
was
like
a
this.
four-way tie at 6 points.
Four-way tie for 6 points. That doesn't make sense. 1, 2.
Yeah, 3, 3, 4, 2, 5, 1.
I'm joking. There was only 3.
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
was
to get you
gonna
guys
say,
confused.
John,
Yep.
those numbers ain't mathing, John.
I like how you guys are going like this.
Wait a second.
Yep. No,
It's like
Johnny
a little-
C was fifth. Johnny C was fifth and first, so he had the
Wow.
lowest count on night 2, so he won the tiebreaker for Cup runner up.
Well, those are my wins. I got a whole sheet of wins.
Well, we'll probably do some honorable mentions since it's been a couple weeks. So my first win of the week is going to go to Jake Nelson in the 10J IMCA stock car, who has also been racing a Western Renegade sprint car, but hasn't raced a ton this year. But boy, when he's raced, he's made sure to make those races count. He got the win on Friday night at the Cole County Classic in Underwood, and he also won that 4,000 win show up at Gondik Speedway this past Sunday. So going home with some pretty good money. He's been racing the IMCA Modifieds the last couple years and decided to jump back into the IMCA stock cars. Pretty sure he's happy with that decision now. He's got 4 wins on the season and I believe less than 10 stock car shows. So pretty good percentage for Jake Nelson in the 10J machine. Second win of the week, I'm going to stay in the stock cars. I'm going to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Brody Carlsrud, as he's also been winning some big shows out on the eastern side of the state. He swept the Sanders Stock Car Challenge races at Norman County Raceway and Red River Valley Speedway. So very good job, Brody. Way to win some of those big shows, and it's got that new car of his this year working pretty darn well. And my third win of the week, stretching it a little bit, kind of like Jessup did with the Western stock cars. It was ladies' night on Friday on the eastern side of the state of North Dakota, as we had McKenna Rummel taking the win at River Cities in the Midwest Modifieds, and Jersey Rosinski getting her first career feature win in the IMCA 305 sprint cars in West Fargo. Very, very cool to see, as those two race go-karts against one another, and those two are great friends, and so it's kind of cool to see that they won on the same night. And so that was my third win of the week. Any honorable mentions that you'd like to shout out?
You didn't say Kyle Dykoff?
I didn't, because it's not official. But he also might get a win of the week after this weekend, unless something major happens too.
Especially if he wins the tour,
Yeah.
I will say Dakota Speedway for getting 37 late models for a track that hasn't really hosted them up to last year. For how many years, John? 5-6 years?
Yeah, because remember, it had been since like, what was it? 17, 18?
17, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It had been a while.
It had been prior to me being on the board at Dakota Speedway. And I gotta say, they got a really healthy field of cars. 37 is a robust number. And then the quality that they brought in for drivers, I thought was really good too. There were some really pleasant surprise drivers that we got with Dave Mass and Don Shaw, and I thought those two I didn't expect to see, and that was really cool seeing them pull up to the track. And I mean, hats off to Michelson for sweeping the weekend handedly. And yeah, and then you had guys out west that came out, and they were pretty good drivers from out west. And it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure the crowd loved seeing that many late models out there too.
Yeah. That I kind of wish they could get a 2-day show just with them highlighting themselves. And then
Kind of like a different time of the year.
Yeah, I look at it as Gov Cup's a great weekend for them because it's a guaranteed two full shows for them, and that really helps draw late model guys to know that they can race 2 nights. But I'd also kind of be interested to see a show with them in 2 classes Friday night, and then them in the other 3 classes that are racing at Dakota Speedway on Saturday night. But that's just me. I think that'd be kind of a neat show for them. But as it stands, it's working, and as long as it's working, don't try to fix something that ain't broke.
So, any other honorable mentions from you, Jessup? I have a couple I was going to give from.
You can go with Jeremy Keller being Gov Cup champion. And that's it. That's all we got for now.
I will give a shout out to, I believe it was just, I guess, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, Kyle Strickler getting $100,000 over at the XR Big Deal, and Joey Thomas finishing second. Very good job for Joey finishing second in a big race like that. And Aaron Johnson got was it 10,000 or 20,000 win for the B?
I think it was 25,000.
25.
It was 125,000 for. I think
mods.
It was 100. Was it 100,000 or 125,000 for?
It was 125,000 for the mods. 125,000 for the mods, and 25,000 for the B mods.
Yep.
And IMC mods.
Yep. So definitely big winners there over at Ogilvie Raceway. Yeah, been a lot of big racing over the last couple weeks, and it's going to be quite a few big races this upcoming weekend. Busy weekend for late models, especially out in the Iron Range area.
Invitational season.
It's
It's
coming
getting
soon.
closer. It is
It's,
getting way closer.
which is good and bad because it's the end.
I know
Yeah,
that's where I'm at too. I like it because it's everybody gets together kind of in, certain places and you get to see a lot of people that you only get to see maybe once or twice a year. But also it's drawing to a close, and that's always the depressing slash disappointing part.
Yeah.
we talk about late models quite a bit, but I mean that's almost a win in the league too. Like late model car counts, whether it's on a local or national level, the car count is pretty strong in the late model division, so that's going to be a good sign for year-end specials.
Well, I'm kind of
Yeah.
excited for year-end stuff like the sites. They set a record there last year with the number of cars they had over there, so we'll see because they were in the mid 60s last year. And then, should be a good sign, hopefully, for the 100 as well as the legendary during that weekend. Hopefully, shows like, obviously the Hamp Memorial's upcoming here as well. I believe that is going to be not this weekend, but next weekend
Oh yeah, yeah.
at the Big Sky Speedway. I think it's the weekend of the 15th, 16th, as they're at two tracks that weekend. And then obviously, guys, for us, right, Stampede Shakedown program, we still have entries out there that we've talked to a lot of drivers, and we still have 3 spots that are still available for that. So if you want to join us for the Stock Car Stampede, late models on that show will be racing for, pretty good payout as well. For sure over $4,000 to win during the Stampede, for sure for the late models. And then the late models, Mason, have a huge show that next weekend because over at ABC, they're going to have a really nice show.
Oh yeah, that's
Yep, the Red Clay Classic.
Yep.
That's going to be a really, really big show this year with the amount of payouts they have and the amount of sponsorship funds that they've raised for that. That'll be a fun one.
$1,000 to start the late model feature. Actually, as I have it up right now, enhance, enhance,
I
enhance.
think, Jessup, isn't it 100K?
50. It says, let's see, the 26th and 27th. It is 15,000 to win. The overall purse for the 4 divisions is $250,000 and 15,000 to win late models, 1,000 to start, 10,000 for second, 7,200 for third, 5,500 for fourth, and 4,800 for fifth, and it definitely looks good all the way through. The modifieds are 10,000 to win, 800 to start. The super stocks are 7,000 to win. Holy crap.
Yep.
600 to win, or 600 to start. And then the B mods are 3,000 to win and $450 to start. There is a lot going on. They do such a good job with it.
that thing has blown up the last few years, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, car counts for that are always really big, but this year they're going to be really big this year. It's going to be a really, really nice show this year. And that weekend too, there's not a ton of late model shows around that weekend, besides
That we
pretty much
know of.
that we know of, right? Before that special side. So I mean, that weekend will be a lot of fun, for those late model shows. So
Yep. Well, last thing I will say with it being kind of in our backyard in the neck of the woods for the championship week of the Street Stock Tour, Friday night in Jamestown, the Last Supper. Come hungry after the races. We'll have plenty of food. Plenty of food and shenanigans in the pits afterwards. So should be a
and
fun.
we'll see if Taylor
Oh,
remembers to make the mac and cheese.
I don't think I can go.
You're gonna miss out on the prime mac and cheese that may or may not be there.
I mean, it all depends on if she brings the ingredients.
I don't believe I'm going to be able to make it. I have commitments that I just remembered.
Oh,
Well, my commitments were made for me last week, Thursday. And it wasn't Becca making them either. So,
okay.
fun times.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, that'll do it for episode 20 of season 4 for the Track Packers podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, and comment to let us know where you're watching from and if you have anything you'd like us to talk about on the show. Thank you to our sponsors, Hitch Harness, The Real Deal with B1 Brody Carlsrud, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sondrol. We're into the month of August. Dog days of summer is upon us, but we will see you all out there packing the track.